A senior UN official is raising the alarm over Gaza's catastrophic situation, calling for unrestricted entry of essential supplies. Standing at the Kisufim crossing, UNICEF's senior emergency coordinator, Hamish Young, described scenes of aid trucks stalled at the border, waiting for permission to enter. Inside Gaza, nearly every hospital has been destroyed or severely damaged, with food, water, and shelter in desperately short supply. Since the ceasefire on October 10th, Israel has only allowed a fraction of the promised aid into Gaza, far below the 600 trucks per day required in the agreement. On some days, no aid has entered at all, deepening the humanitarian crisis. UNICEF's Hamish Young explained that residents urgently need tents, plastic sheeting, clean water, and the equipment and fuel needed to restore basic services. Without fuel, even drinking water and medical care become impossible to provide. Young reported that as of now, nearly all Gaza hospitals are unable to operate, while children and families suffer from famine and widespread disease. Every day, aid agencies face dangerous delays. Aid trucks carrying medical and hygiene supplies, food, fuel, and equipment remain stuck at border crossings, while needs inside Gaza keep growing. Cooking gas, fuel, and basic items for survival have become essential for daily life, Young says. The ceasefire, based on a plan brokered by the United States under President Donald Trump, was supposed to allow 600 trucks daily, including goods from private suppliers. But aid organizations say the actual numbers have fallen far short. On some days, only a handful of trucks are let through. On others, none at all. Thousands of trucks are waiting on the Egyptian side of the Rafah crossing as Israel keeps the border closed, demanding the return of remaining hostages' bodies. Young and the UN team stress that the quality of aid is as vital as the quantity. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza is deepening by the day, with children facing extreme hunger, families without homes, and hospitals unable to treat the injured or sick. The UN is urging full, safe access to Gaza, not just for food, but for the tools, fuel, and freedom of movement needed to rebuild communities and save lives. Since October 2023, Israeli attacks and a strict blockade have killed almost 68,000 Palestinians, the majority women and children, and left Gaza nearly uninhabitable. The destruction of infrastructure and collapse of health systems has forced UN teams to operate in extremely dangerous and difficult conditions. Now, as famine spreads and the risk of disease increases, the international community is being called to act. UNICEF's Hamish Young says, "We cannot sit and wait for supplies to come through." He warns that without immediate and unrestricted access, the children of Gaza will continue to face unimaginable suffering. Aid workers are committed to reaching the most vulnerable, but safe access is needed across Gaza to deliver supplies, restore dignity, and prevent a greater catastrophe. As the world watches, Gaza's need for unrestricted humanitarian aid has never been more urgent.
But in combination, it should be at least a minimum of 600 trucks, plus another 50 trucks a day of fuel, and of course cooking gas is vitally needed in Gaza. As well as the volume, though, what's critical is the types of supplies. We should be able to bring in all types of supplies. For example, there's a desperate need for shelter, and we should be able to bring in tents and tarpaulins in unlimited amounts. Today, people need urgently, they need clean, fresh drinking water. We need to bring in equipment to produce that water and fuel to distribute that water with trucks. We need to bring in pipes and other fittings to repair the water wells, the desalination plants, this sort of thing. People need medical services urgently. All of the hospitals in Gaza have either been destroyed or badly damaged. People need shelter very urgently. UNICEF needs to bring in as much nutritional supply as possible to address the famine conditions in the north. There's an urgent need to push hard for all of these supplies that I'm talking about, and we need access. We need to be able to travel around freely to all parts of Gaza so that we can distribute these supplies to the most vulnerable children and their mothers and their families who are looking after them.